My boards are tomorrow. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna pass them. If I do. It's the morning of my boards. I'm eating a bar, some juice, probably gonna have a banana.
I had to pull over for a second because I forgot I was vlogging this for you guys, but I passed! I woke up a nurse practitioner today, and that is just crazy to me. I can't believe it is all over. So I'm sure you guys are curious to what I did to pass my boards, what I used, what was effective, what wasn't, what cost what. So I'm going to talk to you about that and how long I have been studying. So to take the board, it was pretty expensive. I paid $395 for the board. The reason why I didn't become a member to join ANA and then get the discount was because to join and to get the discount almost was equivalent to the same price. So I paid $395 for the exam. I paid $500 to the state of California just for the application, and then I paid $400 for the furnishing number, and then the DEA, which I have not paid for yet, I know is going to be about $800. So it total, I believe, was going to cost about $2,000 total for licensing and stuff. So how do you know what to choose? Like, there's so many different things out there. Like, how do you know what will suit you, help you, and you don't want to spend that much money when you're already paying for all this plus school? So I graduated December of 2021, and it was the 18th. I had been studying on this app that I had gotten, which is the Jennifer Carpenter app. I went online and asked on the nurse practitioner groups, like, what do you suggest? And they all said Carpenter, but when I went to go look on the app store, I didn't see anything that said Carpenter. So I'm going to show you a little screenshot of what that is. And basically there was a lot of what you should expect and little tips on how to study and stuff on there, but it had 633 questions, and I did all those questions multiple times. I want to say I did all 633 questions about 3 times within a 2-month span. I did take my test February 15th of 2022. So I did about 2 months of studying with that. And what I like about this app is that once you answer the question, it gives you the rationale, but then at the bottom, it has these 3 colors. One's red, one's yellow, one's green, and you basically put it in a file. So if you got it right, like, you could put green. If you feel like you somewhat know it, you could put yellow, and if you don't get it at all, you put red. Once you're done answering all those questions, at the top, you can pick either the ones you're really bad at, which is the red sections, and just do those questions. So I really liked that app. I felt like that helped me a lot. But there was questions in that app that I felt I never learned in school, and I was like, where am I supposed to get this? I remember going over it, but not to the effect to drill it into my head where this was super important. So what I suggest is I would go to the website of whatever board you're going to take, look at the breakdown of what they're going to give you, the questions, how many of what type of questions you're going to get, so that you know what to focus on. Also, I was gifted this 2019 Barkley book from a friend who is no longer using it. She had 2 of them. And one, I was a little hesitant because it was 2019 and now that's 2022. I was like, how much could really change? But I was like, are they adding the COVID stuff? Because COVID happened after this. So I don't know. I was a little hesitant to read this book and just buy the book on my own. However, the Barkley programs, if you go on their website, is $459. You get different types of things. You can do the audios, you can do the MP3 player, you can do the whole package. And I don't know, it was just expensive to me. And I was like, I already have this book. The book to by itself, the ebook, was $133 from their website. And I thought about doing it, but I was like, if I pay $133 for a book and it's not going to be much different than this 2019 one, I'm going to be pissed that I didn't just use this one because it wasn't that old. So what I did was I read this entire book twice. The first time I read it, I read every single page and I was like, why did I not highlight this? Why did I not make flashcards of this? So, okay, maybe I read it 3 times now that I think about it. So basically, the first time I read it, I got all the way to the end and I was like, I should start highlighting things and making flashcards. So that is what I did. I made this many flashcards. So funny, I went and bought a package and I actually didn't think I was gonna need the whole package, and I ended up using almost all of them. So the first time just kind of read the book. Towards the end, I started highlighting it. The second time I read it, I read, highlighted, and made the flashcards at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, it took a long time to make all these flashcards, so I probably only read these flashcards twice in 2 weeks because it took me a while and I was using a lot of different sources. So I got this from a friend, had the Carpenter app, made the flashcards. Also, this is barely anything, but I want to say towards the middle of my program, like when I actually got to patho and pharmacology, I started, like, I would print these, highlight them, study for my tests, and throw them away. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I throwing these away? Like, I actually kept them. And I have this app on my iPad that I will show you called Notability. And I kept all my really important lectures and things that I felt were going to be on the board. Oh, if you can't see, this is the Carpenter app. But I will still show you the little slide. But this is what the app looks like. But anyway, I got Notability. It's this one right here. And I have so many, that's my workout, so many lectures on here from school that I downloaded that I didn't end up printing. This app helps you a lot if you're still in college. Just saying, you might want to check out. I think it's like $4.99. But anyway, I got like the most important, what I felt was really important lectures from my school that I just had a feeling were going to be on the board, and that was antibiotics. One of the things that I felt like was a struggle for me was there were so many antibiotics with so many similar names, so I definitely went over this once or twice before my board exam. Another app, or I don't want to say app, but website that I used, I had a book. I don't have it with me. Maybe I'll go grab it. Is Mometrics. Also, another thing that I felt was a little hesitant to purchase these things is like, which are the, like, how do I know which app is this, or which board exam is this specifically tailored to? Because if this is like for the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, like, do I really want to use this app? But anyway, this is Mometrics University. This I paid $7.99 a month for 2 months. I felt like it was a little cheaper than doing the Barkley. So this gives you, sorry, I know this is kind of an awkward angle, but it gives you, it gives you study tips. It goes over a couple of the like major diseases. And then, so here's my course list. My account, courses. And here it is. So basically it has all these like drop down menus, and I read everything. And what I like about this is that at the end, there's numerous flashcards. There's 570 flashcards that you can go through. But there's also 4 practice exams, and you can take them over and over and over, and they like give you your stats. So I used those 3 things. So I used the Barkley book, the Carpenter app, Mometrics, a Mometrics book, flashcards that I made myself, and a couple of lectures for school. So I want to say on the Carpenter app, there's a goal you can put in when you're going to take your test, and it'll tell you exactly like how many questions you should be practicing a day. I would read 10 pages because there's 199 pages in this book. I read 10 pages a day in this, did the 50 questions, read some of my lectures, and then sometimes I would go over the amount of questions per day. And if I had to narrow down, remember I was telling you that there was questions in that app that I felt like, when did I go over this? Literally the first like 5 pages in the Barkley app had all the answers to the questions that I was like, when did we learn this? And I was like, I'm so glad I had this book, because if not, like, I don't know where I would be right now. I can't talk about what's on the test clearly because I don't want to get in trouble, but it was definitely not what I expected. I was so glad that I passed it because the amount of studying that I did, and like somebody recently I read on the nurse practitioner Facebook groups that I follow was like, how are these students like reading this book, taking their test in an hour, claiming they don't learn anything in school, and going and treating patients, like, is that not scary to somebody? And I was like, I don't feel like I learned nothing in school. Like, I definitely feel like I learned in school. Do I feel 100% ready to go start taking care of patients by myself? Obviously not. I still am a new grad. Like, you still need help. Even as a nurse, I didn't 100% was like, I could do this on my own. Like, no, you obviously need some sort of training and experience. Thankfully, I'm an ICU nurse, so I feel a lot more confident than I think I would have if I wasn't an ICU nurse. But when I went and took my exam, I literally told my husband, like, I am not sitting there for 4.5 hours. I'm sorry. I have anxiety. My back starts to hurt. Like, I get fidgety. I don't want them to think I'm cheating because I'm fidgety. Like, that was a problem with NCLEX. And I was averaging an hour taking the practice test. So I was like, why is it taking 4? Like, I don't want to sit there for 4. I did it for 3 hours, and I do not regret sitting there for very long. I'm glad I took that time. I'm glad I allowed it on myself. Like, it wasn't like NCLEX where it's like, you want to pass in 75 questions, And I definitely didn't think I passed at first, because when you go take your board for this particular board, it tells you, like, you'll find out right then and there. And if you don't pass, they'll give you a printout of like what to expect, how well you did, and like things you can improve on. And then in 60 days, you can retake your test. So I was taking my test, I was going through everything, and I was like, okay, it's time to hit finish. So I submitted my test, and a prompt popped up, and they have a camera when you first come in, like, and I thought, okay, this is where I'm gonna take my photo. Do I take my photo before? And like everybody, because before you used to get a little paper with your face on it and saying like that you passed. So I was like, do I take that now or after? Like, and then, so when I hit submit, it popped up and said, we'll email you in an hour and we'll let you know for a follow-up appointment. And I was like, no, like, a follow-up appointment? Did I fail? Like, why do I need a follow-up appointment? So I was like, okay. I was like, that's okay. I failed. I accepted it. I'll just go and study harder. Like, all right, I got it. And then I hit end again, like the next, and it said grade pass in green letters. And I was like, oh, like, what? Like, I jumped up, and the girl that was like proctoring me, watching me, was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I thought I failed. Like, I thought because this prompt came up and said like, we'll email you in an hour, I thought it meant like I didn't pass. So it was like a really good feeling, really relieved. Like, my whole drive home, I just kept doing that. It's like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I can't believe that I passed this, that this is all over, that I don't have to study this anymore, that I can throw these flashcards away. Like, oh my God, what an amazing journey. So yeah, those are my tips on how I passed the board. That is what I use. I'm sorry that I used so many things that I can't narrow down to what I feel was super, super, super important. If I could do it again, from my research, I feel like Mometrics was more focused towards the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, just because I saw a couple of those answers and like, what do we stand for in their like flashcards. So if I could do it all over again, I definitely would pay for Mometrics again, just because of how many practice tests you get. There's also a book on Amazon. I want to say it's less than $50. Let me grab it before I leave. And I would definitely buy the book. I don't think I've heard, don't get mad at me, Barkley, but I've heard that the audios are just of them reading the book straight. And I'm like, I could do that myself. However, it depends on what type of learner you are. I learn really well from stories. So I feel like if I had the option of actually going somewhere and like listening to the story, I probably would benefit from that more than audios because you can listen to audios when you're driving and you're like distracted. So I feel like if I was actually in a classroom listening to somebody, it would benefit me because I learn from stories and like what people are doing at that time when they told me. I don't know why. But reading this book by myself, reading it a couple of times over, and then the third time I read it, I did only read the highlighted parts. So yeah, anyway, if you guys have any questions that I can answer without getting in trouble, leave them down below, and good luck on studying. Bye. Okay, this is the last book. Sorry, family's home now. Gotta go.